Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى لا سيما المصطفى صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Brothers and sisters, welcome once again to another live edition of your program Ask Huda, the second day of the blessed month of Ramadan. May Allah accept from all of us. Our phone numbers beginning with the area code are 002, then 0238555131 or 132. The Facebook page is Dr. Muhammad Salah Official. While waiting for your valuable calls and concerns, we have many pending questions, mashallah, from the page. The first is Sajid Khan, who says, a relative of mine has come from a different city to my house in Jeddah, and if he stays for 3 nights continuously, can he wear his ihram from my house and perform umrah, or does he have to go to the miqat and make an intention? In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ appointed certain points which are known as al-mawaqit, and he said, هي لهن ولمن مر عليهن. From the understanding of this hadith, that if any person is coming from anywhere, from all over the world, in order to perform umrah or hajj, يعني with the intention of performing umrah and hajj, then meanwhile he paid a visit, he made some business, anything on the way, so his intention from the beginning is to either perform umrah or hajj, then in this case he or she should not cross the miqat without assuming the intention of ihram. Another example, people are coming from Pakistan, from India, they're been invited by their sons, by their daughters, by their family members, they're coming to perform umrah. So they will come and they will rest, maybe in Jeddah for some time, which is within the miqat. So in this case, they should assume the intention of ihram from their proper miqat before landing to Jeddah airport. But if any person was coming for sole business, leisure, or visiting family members, then after finishing his duty, decided to perform umrah, it is permissible to assume the intention of ihram from Jeddah, because it is within the miqat, and people who are living in Jeddah, they don't have to go back to any miqat. Rather, they make the intention of performing umrah or hajj from their homes. Okay? So you and your intention, what will determine whether you will have to go back to the miqat or not, is your intention. Were you coming to perform umrah, or you were coming to visit? Then after you visited, you thought, why don't I make umrah likewise? Okay? So if you have intended that you're planning to perform umrah, then in this case you should not cross the miqat without assuming the intention of ihram from the proper miqat point. The following is a very interesting question. It's about a hadith. What is the meaning of except for fasting, it is exclusively for me? That's a sound hadith. Inshallah, I'll get to discuss it after taking this call. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Zahra from the KSA.
Alaikum salam. Ramadan Kareem Sheikh.
Thank you, Sister Zahra. May Allah bless you and your family. Happy and blessed Ramadan to all of you.
Amin, amin. I heard you talking about in Taraweeh. I am alone here I'm just a helper in the house. I am just 3 years now be Muslim. And when I want to Taraweeh, to pray my Taraweeh, how many rakats am I supposed to pray? And can I pray it loud?
Okay. Thank you, Sister Zahra. May Allah bless you and your family. Sister Zahra is a new Muslim. She accepted Islam only 3 years ago, and she's asking about how to pray the Taraweeh prayer. The Taraweeh prayer is a night prayer. It was given that name because we take a break, like Tarweeha. We take a break between each 2 rak'ahs. And it is simply by praying 2 by 2, 2 units. Then you make taslim. Then 2 units, 2 rak'ahs, and you make taslim. If you pray 8 rak'ahs, 2 by 2, then you pray the witr, 3 rak'ah. This is an ideal prayer of the night prayer, whether in Ramadan or in any other time besides Ramadan. This is narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha. So if you pray 8 rak'ahs, 2 by 2, and you pray the witr, 3 rak'ahs, that is perfectly fine. If you have a chance, if your employer takes you along with them, with the family, to pray Taraweeh in the masjid, that is, of course, the best case scenario. And in this case, you get to pray with the imam. In some masajid, they pray 20 rak'ahs plus the witr. Join the imam, whether he prays 8 rak'ahs only or 20 rak'ahs, no problem. It is all voluntary prayers. And the companions have prayed 8 rak'ahs and have prayed 21 rak'ahs and have prayed more than that. So it is all permissible. It is simply a voluntary prayer. Thank you, Sister Zahra from the KSA. The question which was presented earlier about the segment of a hadith, except for fasting, it is exclusively for me. This is a segment of a hadith in which Allah the Almighty says, كل عمل ابن آدم له إلا الصوم فإنه لي وأنا أجزي به. All the good deeds that son of Adam may do are for him, except for fasting. It is exclusively for me. I'm the one who rewards for it. The hadith goes on and on. It's a beautiful hadith in which also the Prophet ﷺ said that as-siyamu junnah, fasting is a shield and protection, and whoever happens to be fasting should not violate his fasting by al-rafath or al-sakhab, fighting, being insultive, being abusive. And even if somebody abused them or insulted him, فَإِنْ سَابَّهُ أَحَدٌ أَوْ شَاتَمَهُ فَلْيَقُلْ إِنِّي صَائِمٌ. He should not reply with the same way. Rather, he should say, I'm fasting, either to remind himself or to declare to the aggressive person that because I'm fasting, I'm not going to react to you with the same. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسُ مُحَمَّدٍ بِيَدِهِ. I swear to the one in whose Muhammad's soul is in his hand. لَا خَلُوفُ فَمِ الصَّائِمِ أَطْيَبُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ رِيحِ الْمَسْكِ. The smell that remains in the mouth of a fasting person because of long fasting, no eating, no drinking, so it leaves a smell. This smell to us as human beings is not pleasant. This smell to many people is very offensive because you did not change your saliva, you did not brush your teeth, you did not eat, you did not drink. But before Allah the Almighty, this smell is better than any fragrance, better than the musk. أطيب عند الله من ريح المسك. Why? Because the person abandons eating and drinking for the sake of Allah. So Allah appreciates that so much. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, لِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَتَانِ. For a person who's been fasting, 2 types of delights. The first delight is at the time of breaking his fast. And this is understood because after long starvation and thirst, once you break your fast, you appreciate the food, you appreciate the drink, you're very delighted. And the other delight is وَإِذَا لَقِيَ رَبَّهُ فَرِحَ بِصَوْمِهِ. When he meets his Lord, he is pleased with his fasting, with a reward for his fasting. So this is the last segment of the hadith. And we say the first segment is إِلَّا الصَّوْمِ فَإِنَّهُ لِي وَأَنَا أَجِزِي بِهِ. The scholars explain the meaning of except for fasting. All the good deeds the son of Adam does are for him except for fasting. It is exclusively for me. As follows. There are many explanations. But I chose for you what I believe, and Allah knows best, that it is the ideal answer and explanation. The Prophet ﷺ repeatedly explained that الحسنة بعشر أمثالها إلى 700 ضعف. Whenever you do a good deed, a single good deed, its reward begins from 10 times more, up to 700 times. Allah the Almighty says in Surah Al-An'am, من جاء بالحسنة فله عشر أمثالها. Whosoever does a single good deed, for him the reward is 10 times more. Then in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah the Almighty gave the parable how the reward will be multiplied to up to 700 times more. Then in this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ narrated that Allah the Almighty said, except for fasting, which means its reward is not rewarded similar to the rest of the good deeds, similar to the prayer, or to giving alms, or giving any charity, or feeding the poor, because its reward is much greater than that. Its reward is so great to the point that the magnitude of the reward for fasting is concealed, is up to Allah the Almighty. You cannot imagine it. That's why he said, إِلَّا الصَّوْمِ فَإِنَّهُ لِي, except for fasting. It is exclusively for me, and I'm the one who rewards for it. Why? After this call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Omar from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Kareem.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak to you and to your family. Brother Omar, welcome to Ask Huda. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sheikh, I didn't understand with the explanation you make in the first listing for putting ihram. There is a time I went for Umrah. I landed at Jeddah. In the airport there, I took my bath, put my ihram, then went for the 2 rakah and take my intention. I don't know whether that one is right.
Okay.
The second one, I left Medina. The driver couldn't took us to Zul Hulaifa. He just took us. On getting to my hotel, I now took a bath, put my ihram, do the 2 rakah there in my room. Then I went to Masjid for my tawaf. Then the second caution.
Okay. I guess I got your question, Brother Omar. And that's why, even though your question has been asked repeatedly, but I'm very keen to answer these questions because people go for Umrah or Hajj sometimes once in their entire lifetime, and that's why they are not well prepared. They leave it up to the chances. Or maybe there are many scholars in case A, so that they will receive us at the airport and they will tell us what to do. And this is very problematic because before assuming the journey, excuse me, before assuming the journey of performing Umrah or Hajj, one has to learn what are the pillars of Umrah. What am I supposed to do first, then second and third, when, where, and how. So Al-Ihram is the first pillar. And as I mentioned in the question that made you call in to inquire about your case, from the miqat. For instance, you said in the second question that you were in Medina. If you're in Medina and coming to Mecca to perform Umrah, there is a miqat, which is known as Dhul Hulayfa, or currently known as Abiyar Ali. So while passing by, and at this place, you say, لَبَّيْكَ عُمْرَةً. All of you guys who are in Medina and watching me right now, whenever you are planning to perform Umrah, basically, you travel from your countries in order to perform Umrah. Many people begin by visiting Al-Medina. In your hotel room, you perform the ghusl, you dress up in ihram. It doesn't mean that you are in ihram, because you only wear the izar and the rida because it is convenient. So that whenever you are in the bus, if you're going by land, and they say we are in line with the miqat, or if they stop in the masjid, there you say labbaik Allahumma umrah. That's called the miqat, the appointed place to assume the intention of ihram. A common mistake people do is that they perform ghusl, they dress up in ihram, then they go to al-masjid al-nabawi to make ihram from there. This is not the sunnah. This is simply an innovation. If you are afraid that because you're flying maybe from Medina, then to Jeddah, then driving or taking a bus to Mecca, you're afraid that you're going to miss the miqat, you may assume the intention of ihram from before, like once you board the plane. But there is no point to go to Al-Masjid al-Nabawi to make ihram. Also, with regards to your ihram that you made when you landed to Jeddah, I will answer you inshallah in a little bit. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad from Turkey.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Huda.
Thanks for having me on air and answering my question.
You're most welcome.
Sheikh, I have two questions. The first is, in the past year, my job demands me to travel from city to city. And I want to know, how can I fast in Ramadan? Can I even fast in Ramadan, or should I break it? And the second thing I would like to ask is that, we are in the era of media, and the Westerns are just waging Islamophobia. But however, in Muslim countries, we see people who just give those Western media the excuse for Islamophobic actions. For example, people of especially Saudi are just helping millions of dollars to extremist groups such as ISIS. I want you to explain about this sort of Muslim actions. And
but yeah, Akhi Muhammad, when you say that whatever country is paying billions of dollars to help ISIS, don't you think that while fasting, this is an allegation which requires a proof? And if you don't really have a proof for it, that will be a big deal of a sin. Don't you think?
Yeah,
so to say in today's world that a country is paying billions and billions of dollars to support ISIS or any organization, is it an open world and a free world that a country can support an organization which is killing innocent people and no one is watching, no one is paying attention?
Of course, there are a lot of even Muslim medias who are just condemning this sort of actions, and it's very obvious.
Akhi Muhammad, my point is, when you say this person or those people or this country is supporting ISIS and paying them billions of dollars, if you don't have a proof to that, which of course you don't, then that's a sin. So we should seek forgiveness and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us, because you're accusing a country. And as you understand that most of the Muslim countries are suffering from this organization, particularly this country. Okay, so when you release an announcement like that, you gotta be very careful. May Allah guide all of us to what is best. Okay, Jazakallahu khairan. With regards to your question about fasting while traveling, I'll be happy to answer you inshallah. But now I'm going to go back to Umar. Then the question about the hadith. Akhi Umar, if you're coming from Nigeria, if you're coming from whether direct flight or you fly into Cairo first or to maybe Emirates first, there is a miqat. So sometimes the captain announces that since you guys are going to Jeddah, a lot of people are performing Umrah, we will be in line with the miqat in a few minutes. You got to be ready to assume the intention of ihram by saying labbaika umratan at the miqat. Some people, because they're afraid that they may miss the miqat, they may assume the intention of ihram before they board the plane. That too is permissible. But what is not permissible is to postpone your ihram until you land to Jeddah airport, because Jeddah isn't a miqat for you. It is within the miqat. You've already crossed the miqat a while ago. So in this case, the person would have one of two choices. The first one it's kind of not only hard, maybe impossible, to return back so that you cross the miqat and you say labbaik umratan or labbaik hajjan. And as I say, that's impossible. You only have a visa for one entry. So what is the alternative? Dress up in ihram, say labbaik umratan, go perform your umrah and pay a fidya. The fidya is to slaughter a sheep and to distribute its meat entirely upon the poor people in Mecca in order to compensate for a wajib that you have missed. Brothers and sisters, all of you are watching me. If you know somebody who is planning on performing Umrah, please remind them. Make certain that you should know what is your miqat. Those who are going to Medina first, don't worry about it, because your miqat will be Dhul Hulayfa or Abiyar Ali, like the people of Medina. But you don't say, when I go to Jeddah, I will find out. Too late. It's bearing a sin of skipping a pillar, of skipping the wajib of making the ihram from the miqat, and bearing the consequence of having to give a fidya, as I mentioned earlier. Let me take Muhammad from Turkey before I go back to the hadith. Fasting while traveling. Allah the Almighty says in the Quran, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخْرٍ. That's it. That is the answer. Whoever is sick, whoever is traveling on a journey, you're allowed to skip fasting. Provided عِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخْرٍ. Traveling for how many days? 3 days? 10 days? Okay, you're allowed to skip fasting. And then you have to make up those days some other time. Then the scholars have different opinions with regards to the preference. If you're traveling, is it preferable to fast? Is it preferable to break your fast? And what is best? That is, of course, if the person is capable to fast. But if travel burdens you, if your sickness burdens you, then in this case you should break your fast. You should eat and drink. But if the person can afford it, Al-Imam Malik says it is better for him to fast. Others said it's a rukhsah. Rukhsah yani concession. And in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says that إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ أَن تُؤْتَى رُخَصَهُ كَمَا يُحِبُّ أَن تُؤْتَى عَزَائِمَهُ. Don't you think because it's a rukhsah, it's a concession, it is inferior or it is not important? According to the hadith, Allah likes His servant to utilize those concessions and take advantage of them the same way that He likes them to offer what He commanded them to do. So, if you are capable to fast and it will not burden you whatsoever, the scholars have difference of opinion, but what I feel comfortable with, that if that doesn't hurt you and you're capable to fast, then fasting is better. Then fasting is better. You're simply given the choice. Once you feel weak, tired, do not deteriorate your health. Go ahead and eat and drink. You're not blameworthy. But of course, if the person from the beginning broke his fast and started eating and drinking, he's not blameworthy whatsoever. You're only required to make up the day or days after Ramadan is over, whenever you have a chance. Okay, I guess in order to explain the hadith or continue explaining the hadith, we'll just have to take a short break first, and we'll be back inshallah in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد رضي الله عن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجرة فعلم ما في قلوبهم فأنزل السكينة عليهم وأثابهم فتحا قريبا ومغانم كثيرة يأخذونها وكان الله عزيزا حكيما. Who was Qarun? What was the Prophet Muhammad's relationship with his wife like? How did the Prophet Muhammad deal with the accusations that were directed towards his wife? How did Musa travel with Al-Khidr, and what was the relationship like, and what did they learn together? What are the important, practical, relevant meanings behind the story? We're going to be going through Quranic stories together. I'm your brother Hussam Hilal, and the purpose of this program on Huda TV, inshallah, is to learn and understand the Quran in a better way that will aid in our memorization and implementation and our understanding. I look forward.
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن ولو كان من عند غير الله لوجدوا فيه اختلافا كثيرا.
We all know that a person's iman increases and decreases, and the best way to increase your iman is through the Quran.
To contemplate, to reflect, to ponder over the verses of the Quran.
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن ولو كان من عند غير الله لوجدوا فيه اختلافا كثيرا.
In this program, we will listen to the Quran first, and that should soften our hearts. And then once we get to know the meanings and contemplate over these meanings, then we can change by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
ولا يأتونك بمثل إلا جئناك بالحق وأحسن تفسيرا. ولا يأتونك بمثل إلا جئناك بالحق وأحسن تفسيرا.
Join us this Ramadan for Quran Circle.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. A quick reminder with our numbers: area code 002, then 023855, 131 or 132. And we already have a caller. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sheikh. It's
Sister
Zahra again.
Zahra. Sister Zahra, go ahead.
I wanted to ask another question.
Yeah?
I told you I'm only 3 years now Muslim, and my family in Kenya, they are non-Muslim. Can I attend the funeral of my family members?
Can you do what?
Attend the funeral.
Okay. Got your question, Sister Zahra.
Okay.
All right. When the person accepts Islam, his relationship to his family, even those who are non-Muslims, should become much better. Because being nice, being good, being gentle in dealing with your relatives is a pure Islamic principle. It is something that the Quran put a lot of emphasis on. It is something that the Prophet ﷺ promised a magnitude reward for it. Whether it is the parents, the immediate family members, the siblings, or the relatives such as the uncles, the aunts, the cousins, nephews and nieces, and so on. It is our duty to be kind and to be gentle in dealing with all mankind. The Prophet ﷺ said, وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ, and be well-mannered in your relationship with all people. Then it becomes more important to be upholding, to be kind to those who are related to you, even if they are non-Muslims. Whether visiting their sick, whether praying for their guidance, whether assisting them financially, whenever you have a chance to benefit them physically, financially, morally, you should not hesitate to do that. But when it comes to attending the funeral, that we're not allowed to attend the funeral of a non-Muslim, unless if you're the only person, an immediate son or daughter, and you are just burying the late father or mother. As the Prophet ﷺ did not attend the funeral of his uncle, Abu Talib, but he ordered Ali ibn Abi Talib to bury his father, because Ali was his son. May Allah the Almighty bless you, Sister Zahra, and guide your entire family. Assalamu alaikum. Taslim from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Assalamu alaikum.
How are you, brother?
Sheikh, alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Sheikh, I want to ask that I am from India, residing in Makkah. We went to Medina once 3 months back, and from Medina I came back without ihram, reached Makkah, and then went to Miqat here and performed Umrah. Was it correct or not?
What was the miqat? You said, what was the miqat you passed by in Mecca?
I went to this, what is called, Arafat, beyond Arafat.
Okay, you came from Medina.
I came from Medina directly to Mecca without Nia for this.
And where do you live at?
Yeah, I came to Mecca.
Where do you live at, Taslim? Where are you living?
I live in Mecca.
Oh, okay, you live in Mecca. Okay, no problem. Okay, I got your question. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
another question. I have another question.
No.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa
I have
barakatuh.
a question that some people have this premature graying of hair usually because some people then use mehndi, like that is used for colorage or any coloring agent. Is it permissible or not?
To cover or to dye the gray hair.
Yeah.
Okay, got your question. Okay, with regards to your Umrah, since you are Meccan, you live in Mecca, whether you are born and raised in Mecca, originally from there, or you're originally from India, but because of your work conditions that you live in Mecca, you become a resident. So when you come from anywhere, you're coming home. You do not have to assume the intention of ihram from any miqat because you're going home. Unless if you intend to perform Umrah and you want to do assume the intention of ihram from outside. But as you all understand that the Meccans, whenever they want to perform Umrah, they simply step outside the haram. Whether it is Arafah, because Arafah is not a haram, or they go to At-Tan'im, the area which is currently known as Masjid Aisha, or any borders which outside the sanctuary of Mecca. So they have to go out to Al-Hil because Mecca is haram, it's all sanctuary. So once they cross the borders of Al-Haram, they can assume the intention of ihram and come back. That's why people are going to Jeddah for shopping, for business meeting, for whatever. And whenever they're coming, they say, I intend to perform Umrah. That is permissible. There is no specific point, but any point outside the sanctuary of Mecca. Jazakallahu khairan. With regards to dyeing your hair with any color, as long as it is not black, that is permissible. What is restricted is the black color. Sometimes they add a plant which is known as the katam to the henna, so it would give it a darker color. Darker, which is not black, which is not pure black. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Umar from Doha.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Huda.
Jazakallah. I have two questions. One is, how many rak'ats are sunnah for Taraweeh? I mean, some people pray 4, some 8, some 20, so I'm not really sure how many are you supposed to pray for Taraweeh?
Okay.
And my second question is, some countries, started fasting today, some yesterday. So I'm just wondering why there's no, union among the Muslims to decide, when to start fasting. Jazakallah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Umar. Jazakallah khairan. Brother Umar from Nigeria is next on the line. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Alaikum assalam. Sorry, I had your explanation about the Umrah. Then I about to ask a second question when the line went off.
Go ahead.
Regarding, the question I asked for putting Ihram, which I missed, there's something I put in Jeddah. The other one, I couldn't took it at Medina. I went to Makkah. I understand. Then I have a second question.
So the answer to the previous questions were clear.
No, I understand. I'm okay with the answer.
Okay.
It's not that I want to ask a question pertaining funeral.
Okay, go ahead.
Like you said, just a sister asked, can she attend her parent funeral or something if they are a Christian? But this one, I just want to ask, because we should have more knowledge on the funeral, please. Like now, a brother passed on last Friday, Muhammad Ali. So the corpse is being kept, they said, till this week Friday, before the burial arrangement. I don't know whether that one is accepted in Islam to keep the body for almost a week or something, because what I know, if a Muslim dies, they say they should ease the burial. So I don't know, but I need more detail from you, Sheikh.
Okay, got your question, Omar. Thank you. I just want to share friendly advice with you brothers and sisters, my dear viewers. If we can make the question somehow short, brief, and to the point, because of course the value of the time, and sometimes there are other callers on the line. Like for instance, it will be sufficient to say that what is the sunnah with regards to the funeral, or is it permissible to postpone the burial for a day, 2 or 3? What is right and what is wrong in this regard? The sunnah is to rush, is to haste in burying the dead person, not to postpone, unless if it is only a few hours, maybe somebody is coming on the way, but for a few days that is not permissible. Okay, jazakallahu khairan. Demba from Gambia, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Welcome to the program, Demba.
I wanted to ask a question. The question is about brothers working in the tourist industry. They are Muslim brothers, and after selling alcohol, by keeping fast.
Got your question. Any other questions?
So what is the solution?
Okay. Solution is in your hand. Or whoever is involved in that. Like, there are many questions nowadays that I fast but I don't pray. What is the solution? Solution, you should pray. I fast but I work in a hotel, in tourism, and I serve alcohol. What is the solution? Solution is you should quit the job which you know that it is haram. It is no secret. It is not permissible to deal with alcohol or any intoxicant. Anyone who serves, who sells, who buys, who introduces alcohol has been cursed by Allah and His Messenger, as it is stated in the sound hadith. So would that invalidate fasting? Fasting is valid, but is it accepted? Allah knows best. Is the reward the same? Of course not. Why? Because the person is violating the command of Allah the Almighty with regards to serving alcohol or selling alcohol. This is not permissible. And the earning out of selling or serving alcohol is absolutely pure unlawful earning. So hopefully, inshallah, during Ramadan and while fasting at the time of breaking your fast, your dua is accepted. Ask Allah to give you a better job, a lawful job, and do your best in order to quit what is haram, not only during Ramadan, but just take Ramadan as a turning point. Hopefully, Allah the Almighty will grant you a better provision. Assalamu alaikum. Yusuf from Ethiopia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, I would like to know a question about Muslims. The Saturday fish, the fish which have been fished Saturday, is it permissible for the Muslim world, the Muslims eat Saturday fish? Or is it permissible, like farm stuff?
Muslim and Saturday fish? Yeah, Yusuf. You said Saturday fishing?
The Saturday fish, yeah, is it permissible or is it forbidden?
It is permissible to fish on Saturday and to fish 24/7, no problem. Even if you are in a state of haram, fishing is permissible, okay? Perhaps you're referring to ayah number 156 and 57 of Surah Al-A'raf, in which Allah the Almighty is narrating to us the story of a group of Bani Israel who used to do fishing on Saturday. وَاسْأَلْهُمْ عَنِ الْقَرْيَةِ الَّتِي كَانَتْ حَاضِرَةَ الْبَحْرِ إِذْ يَعْدُونَ فِي السَّبْتِ إِذْ تَأْتِيهِمْ حِيتَانُهُمْ يَوْمَ سَبْتِهِمْ شُرَّعًا وَيَوْمَ لَا يَسْبِتُونَ لَا تَأْتِيهِمْ كَذَلِكَ نَبْلُوهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ. The ayah, which refers to the story of those people living by the seaside, and they violated the command of Allah and they used to fish on Saturday, Sabbat. We don't have this prohibition. You can fish 24/7 if you want to. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Abu Bakr from Gambia. Okay, cut off. Please try again. I hope to remember Omar from Doha. He asked two questions. The first one was about the Taraweeh prayer. What is the exact number? We said Aisha radiallahu anha narrated in one hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray 8 rak'ahs plus the witr, that is total 11 rak'ahs, whether in Ramadan or outside Ramadan, in any other time. And since this is a voluntary prayer, it is permissible to pray more. It is permissible to pray less because of the practices of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who have prayed more. And if you only pray 2 rak'ahs, that is Qiyamul Layl. The Taraweeh, which is highly recommended during Ramadan, the night time of Ramadan, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, من قام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. We highly recommend that you should offer the Taraweeh in congregation with the Imam. And since the Imam is leading the prayer, attend the prayer with him until he finishes it. So the hadith says whoever stands up in prayer at night during Ramadan, all his previous sins will be forgiven. And the virtues of attending the prayer with the Imam, whether he is praying more or less until he wraps it up, is stated in another hadith, من صلى مع إمامه حتى ينصرف كتب له قيام ليلة. If you attend the prayer with the Imam until he wraps it up, يعني until he prays witr and finishes the entire Taraweeh or the night prayer, it will be recorded for you in the record of your good deeds as that you have prayed for the entire night. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Uthman from Gambia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, sir. I want to ask one question.
Please.
Like some brothers, they are working in the hotel in the Gambia, but sometimes they look for this tuba, this white tourists when they are coming here. They are loving with them each other. Then after us, then go to the.
Okay. Fasting, Omar's second question, is about different countries fasting on different days. Some started fasting today and some started fasting yesterday. Why is that? As far as why is that, from a fiqh perspective, I would like to share with you that even at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, it was not possible for the entire Muslim ummah to fast on the same day, unless if it happens coincidentally, not by arrangement. Why? Because there was no means of communication to reduce the distances. Nowadays, in a split of a second, you can know that Oman is fasting today or tomorrow, versus Doha, versus the United States or Muslims in China. So there are two fiqh views with regards to the beginning of fasting, which is one which is known as Wihdatul Matala'. And that means that if any Muslim country, if any Muslim person, according to one view and according to another, two Muslims have cited the crescent of Ramadan in anywhere in the world, then all Muslims should begin fasting next morning. That is perfectly nice, and it is an amazing idea. But in the past, it was not possible because of lacking the means of communication. Nowadays, we do have the means of communication, but we don't have the unity. We are so disunited. We are so disunited. But there is another fiqh view which says that every locality, they should cite the moon, and they're allowed to fast based on their own moon citation. So when somebody says, in Doha, we were able to see the moon, then they must fast tomorrow. According to the opinion of the vast majority, the rest of the world should fast because the moon is only one moon, and it has been cited by one country, by one Muslim country. That is sufficient. But if they don't, they are following another opinion, and may Allah bring unity to our societies, our countries, so that one day fasting will be all declared on the same day, and the Eid will be declared on the same day likewise. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Sayyid from India.
Yes, brother. Sir, I want to ask one question.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. If the can I perform the Fajr Sunnah prayer if the mandatory prayer has been started?
Okay. Okay.
Like I want to, so you mean like, do I have to pray the, if the Fajr mandatory prayer has been started, can I pray the Sunnah, then can I join the mandatory prayer? Or do I have to join the mandatory prayer? Then after the mandatory prayer has been finished, I have to pray the Sunnah.
Okay. Got your question, brother. Say it from India. Once the prayer has been established and you're attending the Fard prayer, you should attend it from the beginning, especially if you did not start off your Sunnah prayer yet. By the end, it's a Sunnah. It's highly recommended. It's an emphatic Sunnah. It has a great virtues, the Sunnah for Fajr especially. But the Prophet ﷺ said, once the Iqamah for the Fard prayer has been called, there should not be any other prayer, no talking. You should right away start attending the Fard prayer. Then it is permissible to pray the Sunnah soon after Fajr. But didn't you say before that it is dislike to pray any Nawafil after Fajr until sunrise? Correct. Unless if there is a reason, like I'm not praying any voluntary prayer, I'm praying these two Sunnah before Fajr, which I missed, so I'm making them up. That is permissible. And if you postpone them until past sunrise, that is permissible too. Have you started the Sunnah prayer already and the Iqamah is being called, and you assume that you're close to wrapping up your Sunnah and you'll be able to attend the prayer with the Imam while standing before Ruku', then you can finish off your Sunnah. But if you fear that you're going to miss the Rak'ah, then you should get off the prayer, leave it without finishing the Sunnah prayer in order to attend the Fard prayer from the beginning. May Allah the Almighty guide us to what is best. May Allah teach us what we don't know and help us to comprehend useful knowledge and act upon it. By that, brothers and sisters, we'll come to the end of today's edition of Ask Huda. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help